Hi, and welcome back to EdTech Insider. I'm Andrew Cohen, the founder of Brainscape, and today I'm here with Vicki Davis, who is known as the Cool Cat Teacher, as well as the spearheader of a lot of really cool projects. How you doing today, Vicki?
Doing great.
It's good to have you here. First of all, there's a lot of focus on results in education these days, and hitting a lot of different metrics in our own classrooms. Yet a lot of your focus has been on connecting students across the globe and outside of their classroom that they're in right now. Why do you see that global connection being such an important part of education and something that we should be prioritizing?
Well, you can't have excellence in education without global collaboration. It is part of being a 21st century learner and business person. As a business person, you actually work with people around the world, and that's an important skill set for you to have. So, there's several pieces as you plan your classroom. We like to say that and I just lost my piece of paper. We've got information, communication, location, and generation. But if you just look at the location piece, you've got your inner circle, which is your neighborhood, your school, your family. But then we have to go out past that to our outer circle. We have to go to our state, our nation, our hemisphere, and then the entire world to be a well-rounded citizen. The other thing is we can't afford to send all of our kids around the world. We'd love to, but we can't. And what we're finding is that the worldview of students changes when they go into collaborative spaces. So we actually have a researcher who has done some work and found that by collaborating globally like we do in our flat classroom projects, that ethnocentrism is minimized. So the worldview of students actually changes by traveling virtually without having to travel. So it's very important if you're going to have a successful workforce to have students understand and have a global mindset.
Interesting. And so, how do students take all the different points of view that they tend to be exposed to and sort of turn those into ideas that they can synthesize? What are some projects that you've kind of spearheaded or you found to be successful that engage students across the globe this way, particularly using technologies?
Right. Well, our flat classroom project, the students study the trends in Thomas Friedman's book, The World is Flat. They do collaborative research and collaborative writing on the wiki, and then they create a video and have to outsource part of their video to a partner in another part of the world explaining their topic. So it has some incredible videos that educators around the world judge and sort of help move the story of education forward. But some of the most exciting things have happened on our DigiTeen project. That's our digital citizenship program. Run by our nonprofit, where students actually have to do local action projects about digital citizenship. So in my school, for example, our students do digital citizenship training for kids in our elementary school, talking with kids, believe it or not, in fifth grade, they need to be talked to about Facebook. Technically, they're too young to go on Facebook, but they're going on there in droves. And so we have to talk about safety and privacy and all those sorts of things. But we've had classrooms, we had one in Austria that created the DigiTeen Pledge that had students pledge not to download illegal music, and every kid in the whole school except for 3 actually signed up on it. We had one set that held a coffee house at a bowling alley out in the Midwest to train people about how to be safe online. So really the students are taking the research, they're collaboratively writing and collaboratively researching in that project, but then they're taking it and they're applying it in their local community to improve digital citizenship in a way that fits the needs of the local community. So some may hit on cyberbullying if there's been an incident, or they may, like in our school, we really hit Facebook this year as a topic. And so it just depends upon the students and what they decide to do. Those are just a few examples. You can go to digiteen.org and see those, and you can see our videos at flatclassroomproject.net.
Interesting. So the global collaboration efforts have the intention of both fostering safety as well as fostering new ideas and new types of sharing. And one of the things that you mentioned was this video collaboration project where you said they sort of outsourced part of the video
Right.
creation to a counterpart overseas. What's the technical logistics of that? Because I know that if I'm working on a movie and say iMovie, it's hard enough just me working on with the different components. How do you sort of outsource a piece of a video overseas?
Well, we've worked very hard to work out the details in the last 5 years. 5 years ago, obviously, it was very, very challenging. We use a Ning, and we have created some ways to rip the video down and convert it depending on the platform, so that we can really use any platform and create it any way. The toughest thing is having students know how to ask for the video in a way that transcends language barriers, and the fact that when I'm talking to you face to face, there's face, voice, and body language. And when I post a request online, I don't have that. So if they're going to be ready for outsourcing like you might do on a website like Elant, where you outsource things, they have to be able to be descriptive about things in very specific ways. So sometimes we learn as much when we get the wrong kind of video, the one we didn't really ask for, we get the right one. So it's a little bit of a challenge. But we also see a lot of really exciting things happening at the elementary level. We have our elementary flat classroom project that links together classrooms over the course of 6 to 8 weeks, and it's called A Week in the Life. And so each week they're comparing different aspects of their life. So this is family tradition this week, and then next week maybe the insects, or next week maybe something else. But in this, they're becoming senders of information and receivers. They're teaching each other, and they're learning from each other. And this mutual dependency, the symbiotic relationships that emerge out of social media and the web, the way we're hooked together now, this is an important concept for students to understand. That we want students to co-create. We want them to work together. Our projects, we don't allow you, except with the elementary flat classroom project, to have a partner sitting next to you. Your partner has to be in another classroom. Because face-to-face classrooms are very good at partnering with students. So what we're trying to add is this asynchronous interaction, because there was a Business Week study that said 1 out of 5 of us in the business world will be on a full first-name basis with someone in India in the next 4 to 5 years. Well, that means that either we're going to have to be up till midnight or get up at 6 a.m., or we're going to have to be very good at communicating in an asynchronous way. So we're adding the asynchronous piece. Is it harder? Yes, it's harder. Do we get teachers who sometimes say, this is too hard, we just want an instant message, or we just want to chat? Right. We do all the time, but that's not what we're about. We're about excellence in global collaboration and creating a whole new class of students who can graduate from high school and really understand how to collaborate when they go into e-learning platforms or wherever they go.
Yeah, and it's interesting sometimes to see how the asynchronous communication can lend itself to so many different sort of patchworks of communication, whether it's through email, whether it's through, you're mentioning wikis, and I'm assuming that, your wikis sometimes have sort of comment systems below where students can have threaded discussions. What other types of asynchronous tools have you used to facilitate these types of discussions?
We try to make it simple for teachers who are starting and just keep it to the wiki and the videos for most of our projects. But we have some other layers for the more advanced teachers when they get comfortable. So we have DIGO research groups with standard tags, and we have experts in there collaborating and using those tools. We use Google Docs and that sort of thing very heavily. We have Twitter accounts for the projects, and we link up to Twitter. We have a very active group on Facebook for the teachers where we communicate. We're actually been testing Google Plus now for some time and see a lot of potential with Google Plus. So we really dabble in a lot of everything. We test it like crazy before we take it to the students. We use Google Groups to keep things running for the teachers. We use RSS readers. The students typically use iGoogle. But we build classroom monitoring portals using NetVibes right now, so we can monitor everything in like a dashboard, everything that's coming in. And I could go on and on. One time we listed, and it was over 20 that we use. But
wow.
Again, there's entry level, and we keep it simple enough that you could start in and not be overwhelmed. It's still tough. But you can do it. And then it's kind of like my Couch to 5K when I started running about 2 years ago. I took up running when I was 40, which is kind of crazy. But it had me run just a little bit at a time, and then I built up my stamina, and now I do 7 or 8 miles a week. So that's the same thing we try to do with Flat Classroom, is give an entry level, this is very simple, and then just kind of move up and become more fluent in Web 2.
Right, it's sort of like scaffolding.
Yeah, and we have student summits at the end in Blackboard Collaborate. So we have an online classroom. They're actually an in-kind sponsor, and we have an online classroom. So when they're done, they go in there and they present what they found, and we invite people from all over the world through Twitter and through my blog and everybody else's blogs, and do that sort of thing. So we're a little bit of everywhere. We're Tumblr, and we play a lot. The teachers, we've really got a great network. We've got a Flat Classroom certified teacher program that we've been testing our book. Our book that comes out in January is actually will be on the 4th version by the time it hits the ebook readers and the presses, because we've already had 2 classes of Flat Classroom certified teachers, and so we've got a group of sort of a network of elite Web 2 athletes, I guess you could say.
And what's your book going to be called?
It's Flattening Classrooms, Expanding Minds.
Flattening Classroom. I'm going to put it right here.
That's the local collaboration. So it's from Publishing, and you can go to flatclassroombook.com and you sign up to do book groups or communicate with us, or we'll email you when the book comes out. We've already kind of got a network emerging from the book. The goal of the book is not just to have a book, it's to build a network around it. So we've put a lot of things, and we have QR codes all through the book. So if you're reading something, I'm about to hang up on this person. Oh, I hate that. But if you see a video, mention a video in the text, snap the QR code and see video from there. Or you can take a survey, or you can go to the forum and the whole book is meant to bring people into the network and not just to be a static book that just sits there.
I love the movement toward interactive books. I was just talking to the CEO of Vook the other day, and I think that the future of the way people are going to be reading is going to be exactly the type of thing that you're creating.
Oh, well, Vook is doing so many things. They have so many. I don't even know how many books they have now that they've produced, but there are a ton of them on the Kindle and the ebooks. So.
Mm-hmm. Growing quickly. Well, Vicki, it's very impressive the network that you've created under the Flat Classrooms umbrella, with all the different teachers that you have as hubs, with all the student engagement that you've created, and with all the tools that you've been using. So kudos to what you're doing for the education technology community. And I'd encourage anybody who's out there to check out Vicki's work, whether it's through the Flat Classroom Project or any of the ones that she mentioned, or just by checking out her blog, which is Cool Cat Teacher. Where is that?
CoolCatTeacher.blogspot.com.
I'll put that here again.
Yeah. And I'm Cool Cat Teacher on Twitter, and VickiDavis.me on Tumblr. So I'm just a little bit everywhere. And if I got a fan page on, just go to my blog and you can find where I think that people should be able to connect where they feel the most comfortable. So there's just a lot of ways to connect.
Beautiful. Well, Vicki, it's been a pleasure. I look forward to being in touch and continuing to follow your work.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Once again, this is Andrew Cohen with EdTech Insider, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you.
Well, we just reserved that.